Hey, in today's video, I'm talking about warning signs that you have gallbladder disease and what to do about it. And you might be listening to this video and not even have a gallbladder. Maybe you had your gallbladder removed. This video is still for you because if you've ever had these warning signs, it's a sign you have poor bile flow. Your gallbladder is actually an appendage. In a sense, it's a growth of your liver. So if you have gallbladder problems, it means you have liver problems. And even if you got your gallbladder removed, you're still dealing with liver problems unless you get to the root cause. Now let's talk about some of the main warning signs and let's talk about the importance of the gallbladder. So whenever I see somebody and they're telling me they have like pain in between their shoulders and also pain on the outer portion of their legs, like what we call their iliotibial band, I always start thinking that could be related to gallbladder. There's a pain referral sign of issues in between the shoulder blades. So if you're noticing that pain in the shoulder blades, particularly on the right lower part of your shoulder blade, that is a referral pain from the liver gallbladder area, and also iliotibial band issues. Again, the outer portion between your hip and your knee. So the outer part of your leg between your hip and your knee, that can also be a referral sign of issues with your liver gallbladder region. Also, people that have dry skin, dry hair, hypothyroid type issues, I think liver gallbladder issues. In fact, with your thyroid produces T4 and T3. T4 is inactive thyroid hormone, T3 is active. That's what actually activates the cells to produce more energy. And so the thyroid is producing primarily T4, this inactive form. The liver does the most of the conversion, 60% of the conversion from T4 into active T3 is done in the liver. And so if your liver's not functioning well, then you're not able to get that right conversion, and therefore you're more prone to dealing with hypothyroid type symptoms like dry skin, trouble losing weight. Those can all be signs. You might have itchy skin, right, or redness, red skin, itchy skin. That can be a sign of a liver gallbladder problem. In fact, when you don't recycle bile effectively, bile is this key fluid that your liver produces, and of course your gallbladder stores, and it's necessary to emulsify fats and break them down so we can use them for fuel. It's necessary to absorb fat-soluble nutrients like vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. And bile is also antimicrobial. Its job is to help protect the small intestine from too much bacteria. It helps kill off a good amount of bacteria and keeping the small intestine with the right microbial balance. When we don't have good bile flow, we can end up with small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, yeast overgrowth, parasites, different things like that. So it's really important to have good bile flow. When we don't have good bile flow and good bile metabolism, we can end up with extra bile in the blood, which can cause a condition of pruritus, where we have extra itching and redness in our skin. So that can be a warning sign that there's liver gallbladder issues. On top of that, headaches. Oftentimes people that are dealing with liver gallbladder issues will have chronic headaches. They'll also have a runny nose that won't stop. And so if you have a chronic runny nose, that can be a warning sign of liver gallbladder issues that are draining your immune function. So another really important thing to look for. When you have bowel movements, oftentimes people with liver gallbladder issues, they deal with constipation, but also light colored stools, right? Where it's the stool is very, very pale and doesn't have kind of the natural brownish, because the bile is what actually gives it its brownish form. So oftentimes people can have light colored stools. They can also have more yellowing of the skin and yellowing of the eyes, almost like a jaundice-like condition. In fact, jaundice would be kind of a late stage liver gallbladder issues. But you might start noticing a little bit more yellowing in your fingernails, in your eyes, in your skin, and that can be an indication of liver gallbladder issues. So all signs to make sure that you're looking out for. And then finally, just digestive issues in general. You might notice that you're bloated on a regular basis, that you've got abdominal cramping. That could also be an indication of liver gallbladder issues. A lot of people with fibromyalgia, where they have this hypersensitivity to any sort of sensation, and it almost always causes pain. This is related to liver gallbladder issues. When people have fibromyalgia, one of the first things I focus on is making sure that we're getting liver gallbladder functioning better, functioning more effectively. And so again, if you've had your gallbladder removed, you're not alone. There's 600,000 gallbladder removals every single year. And about 50% of the people that get their gallbladder removed notice no difference in symptoms. So they typically get their gallbladder removed because they have large gallstones that are lodged up, blocking the bile ducts, and it's almost like an emergency surgery at that point. However, most of them still continue to have a lot of chronic health issues. And so that may be you. You may be dealing with that as well. So how do we address these issues? One of the most important things is focusing on a real food-based, nutrient-dense diet that's anti-inflammatory. Some of the worst things for your liver are going to be ultra-processed foods, all your artificial flavorings and sweeteners, pesticides, herbicides that we might be getting in from produce that we're eating, from processed foods, from non-conventionally grown, conventionally raised animal products, all of that stuff. The toxins just bombard our system. High glycemic foods or high insulogenic foods, all of your processed carbohydrates, your snacks, your chips, your cookies, all of that kind of stuff drives up insulin levels, and it ends up causing damage to the liver gallbladder region. So we want to make sure we're avoiding all those things. Seed oils, your linoleic acid, your corn, soybean, safflower, cottonseed oil, these things are poison to your liver, right? And your liver and gallbladder. So we want to make sure we're getting rid of all of those types of things and then focusing on real food-based nutrition. I recommend high protein diet, making sure we've got healthy fats like high polyphenol extra virgin olive oil on board, and making sure we've got a lot of bitter greens and citrus fruits. So your bitters are going to be things like parsley, cilantro, dandelion, radishes, arugula, lemons and limes, like I talked about with citrus fruits. These things are all really, really good for helping to thin the bile and improve overall bile flow. So we want to make sure we're on this sort of anti-inflammatory diet. If you're having a lot of trouble with bile flow, a lot of digestive issues, try eating smaller meals with less fat, okay? If you're having liver gallbladder issues, you're having poor bile flow, you're not going to be able to push out enough fat to eat a higher fat meal. So let's focus on lean proteins, trying to get 30 grams of protein in a meal, but maybe just 15 to 20 grams of healthy fats, and try to kind of hold it there. So you might do leaner proteins like fish, wild-caught salmon, for example, or like poultry, chicken, turkey, and then maybe just a tiny bit of high polyphenol extra virgin olive oil just to get your fat up to maybe 15 grams in that meal and see how your body responds to that. What I found is that most people that have these kind of significant liver gallbladder issues, they struggle on a high fat meal, like a 30 to 40 grams of fat in a meal, but they can do 15 to 20 grams, and they can do that fine. And so if they're consuming foods that are lower in the fat but high protein, that will create satiety, but still make sure you're getting the 15 to 20 grams of healthy fats. And make sure, of course, you're getting colorful fruits and vegetables. That's so critical. Eating good quality, colorful fruits and vegetables, whether it's, carrots, oranges, you can do different red vegetables, right? Tomatoes, for example, are a good one. Red bell peppers, so you get extra vitamin C in the bell peppers. You want to make sure that you're consuming things like celery, cucumbers can all be really beneficial here. So getting a lot of those, and make sure you're hydrating really well. I find that most people with liver gallbladder issues are not doing a good job of hydrating, and they're also electrolyte deficient. So making sure you're hydrating your body really well, drink at least half your body weight in ounces, make sure that you're getting good electrolytes. Get a little bit of salt in there, consume trace mineral-rich fruits. All your good fruits and vegetables can be really beneficial here. You can also add in just a little bit of salt in your water, and that can be really beneficial. Or you can use an electrolyte powder like Element, for example, which has got the right ratio of sodium, potassium, and magnesium, and that can be really, really supportive for your body. So making sure you're doing that is really key from a nutrition perspective. Then what we want to do is make sure that we're doing liver detoxification strategies. One of the easiest is just castor oil pack over your liver. So you get a castor oil pack or a flannel or a towel of some type, and you put a tablespoon or two of castor oil and spread it around on the flannel or on the pack or on the towel. And then you'd wrap it around and put it right over your liver gallbladder area, which is your upper right quadrant of your abdominal region. Put that on every night for roughly 45 minutes. Most people find that it's easier to be compliant if they do it in the evening. That's why I say do it at night. Keep it on there for about 45 minutes, that castor oil. That will give it time to kind of sink into the body. Now, some people will ask, well, can I just put it right on there? You certainly can, but it can also get on your clothes. So that's why the pack is helpful. That way it doesn't actually get on clothes if you don't want to walk around naked, or at least naked from your upper body. And so put on that pack, let it sit in there. The castor oil will penetrate. That's going to open up and dilate your bile ducts and allow bile to flow through more effectively. You got to really clear the sluggish, congested bile ducts. That's so critical here. So make sure you're doing the castor oil pack on a daily basis. Doing things like infrared sauna can be really helpful. Doing things like, for example, red and infrared light therapy can be really helpful, especially if you target it right over that liver gallbladder area. That infrared will get in and start to help heal and regenerate those liver cells, start improving overall bile flow. So that can be really, really helpful and really supportive as well. And then you also want to make sure you're optimizing stomach acid production. So when you have really good stomach acid production, you're able to digest your food more effectively, and that stomach acid will move into the small intestine and will activate receptors that trigger good bile flow. And most people that have liver gallbladder issues are not producing enough stomach acid. So taking a little bit of apple cider vinegar, like a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in water before a meal, 10 to 15 minutes before a meal, will help trigger your vagus nerve, which is Latin for wanderer, travels from your brainstem down into your stomach, into your intestines, and it actually activates the production of stomach acid, bile flow, pancreatic enzymes, so you can digest your food more effectively, absorb the nutrients from your food, and have good bile flow. So taking some apple cider vinegar before the meal can be one of the most helpful things for supporting good bile flow and supporting good liver gallbladder function. And then finally, some different supplements. Milk thistle I found to be the most powerful herb for liver gallbladder health. Taking milk thistle, roughly 250 to 500 milligrams twice a day, can be really helpful with milk thistle. I also recommend taking N-acetylcysteine, taking roughly 500 to 1,000 milligrams twice a day can be really helpful. And then also taking TUDCA, right? Taking TUDCA, which is actually a bile salt, is really good for helping thin the bile and get the bile moving really well. You can also take other bile salts like choline and taurine. You can also do different other herbs like dandelion, for example, can be really helpful for good bile flow. But those are the key supplements that I recommend. Something with milk thistle in it, something with TUDCA, and something with bile salts like choline and taurine. If you're doing TUDCA, you probably don't need to do something with choline and taurine. But if you're not doing TUDCA, definitely something with choline and taurine. There's different bile flow support type products that are out there that you can find. And I find that milk thistle is the best herb when it comes to helping heal and regenerate the liver cells, as well as the gut and the kidneys. So that can be really, really helpful, really profound. That's something that we also want to make sure that we're adding in. So when we're looking at lab testing, if we want to look at liver enzymes, we're looking at AST, ALT, alkaline phosphatase, and GGT. These are kind of the 4 key liver enzymes. And so what I find when somebody has a liver-specific issue is that ALT will be high. Both ALT and AST will be high, but ALT will be higher than AST, and they'll be up over 25. So I like to see those numbers between 10 and 25. If they're up over 25, then I'm thinking this person has a liver issue, particularly if ALT is higher than AST. If somebody has high alkaline phosphatase, like up over 100, okay, that's typically an indication that there's something going on with their gallbladder, possibly gallstones. And in some cases, it can be really high, 150. That's an indication that there's a very acute issue going on with the gallbladder. But anytime I see alkaline phosphatase up over 100, I'm thinking this person probably has gallstones that are in their liver, gallbladder, kind of in the biliary tree, in their liver gallbladder region. So that can be a sensitive marker for that. And then if GGT is real high as well, that can be an indication the individual is depleted of glutathione. Maybe they've got high level of toxicity and liver damage. So that's another lab test marker that I'm looking for. And then overall, you can look at inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein, high fasting insulin levels, different things like that that just tell us the overall state of inflammation in the body. And that could be an indicator as well. So now you understand the importance of liver gallbladder, bile flow, and how critical this whole biliary tree is in allowing us to digest and absorb fat-soluble nutrients and to sterilize the small intestine and to stabilize blood sugar and allow us to really thrive. And if you've got some of these chronic symptoms that I listed earlier, it's an indication, a warning sign that you need to address liver gallbladder function. I gave you many great strategies in this video, so start applying those now. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below, and please share this with anybody that you know and that you care about as well.